I love you too. I want to thank the Human Rights Campaign for inviting me to participate in tonight's festivities and for your ongoing work to make the dream of equality a reality for every American. I also want to take the opportunity to recognize my friend, Senator Feinstein. Julian Bond of the NAACP. Hillary Rosen, wherever she is. And my friend and our champion, the Honorable John Duran. Give them all a big hand. Now, it wasn't too long ago when I had the great personal honor and privilege to preside over the ceremonies of 11 of our over 18,000 legally wed same-sex couples. And you know, when I had the chance to see the joy in the eyes of men and women who were finally permitted to live their lives with the person they love in a legally recognized bond of marriage, I can still remember the faces of Bruce Cohen and his husband Gabe, Dana Perlman and his husband Hugh, each struck by the wedding day jitters felt by every couple. And with each ceremony, I know I witnessed God's grace on earth. And I was overwhelmed by the feeling that our state and our country had finally opened a new chapter in its extraordinary journey. For American history has been a long tale of progress, a story of people learning from our mistakes, recognizing our shortcomings, and rectifying our missteps from generation to generation. Now, the path hasn't always been easy. The road to equality has hit its shares of twists and turns along the way. And through the changes we've sought, have really rarely happened overnight, we never gave up the fight. We never gave in to an unjust status quo. We never lost our vision or our sight of our goals. And progress did ultimately prevail. And it prevailed because we live in the greatest, freest country on earth. And we can't ever forget it. We must never lose sight of it, because that truth holds the ultimate hope to comfort those shut out of the American dream, and the ultimate hope which will carry us to full equality. You see, this is a nation built on the backs of slaves, but where a man once considered 3/5 of a person by our Constitution took an oath to preserve, protect, and defend the very same document as President of the United States. This is a nation that declared all men are created equal, and unfortunately took that statement literally, until a group of incredible women reached for the ballot and pulled the lever of progress for every mother, daughter, and sister to follow. This is a nation where progress for immigrants and farm workers, for Latinos and laborers, was born out of years of marches and hunger strikes, court battles and boycotts. And this is a nation that has come a long way towards gay and lesbian equality in a very short period of time. It was just 30 years ago when San Francisco elected our country's first openly gay public official. It was fewer than 10 years ago when I joined Sheila Kuehl to pass landmark measures which broke the back of discriminatory practices in our schools and in our workplace. And it was barely a decade ago when a small group of us in Sacramento formed the LGBT caucus, and we stood up to stand up against Prop 22. It was just one short year ago when our Supreme Court had the courage to affirm that equal protection under the law applies to every Californian, that the rights of the few cannot be denied by the temporary prejudices of the majority. And we can only hope that these same justices will now reaffirm the truth inherent in freedom itself. That rights are rights, because they can never be removed by an evolving opinion or denied by impermanent intolerance. But we all know that if we're being honest, that another court ruling in our favor is a long shot. They are much more likely to leave things as they are. But when we have a system that requires a 2/3 vote to pass a bond or a budget, but only a scant majority to strip away fundamental rights, then we know our system remains fundamentally broken. When one couple's marriage can be dissolved by others at the ballot box, we know that real equality remains out of reach. Tonight, as we honor our community's heroes, it's important to remember what's truly at stake when it comes to marriage equality. It isn't just about us. Marriage equality or not, we have it pretty good here in one of the most tolerant, diverse cities in the world. But to this very day, in places like Johnstown, Pennsylvania, high school kids are forced to choose between the closet or the street. In Fresno, California, young couples still live in fear of being shut out by their families, ridiculed by their friends, and ostracized from their communities. And it was just over a year ago, right up the 101 in Oxnard, an innocent 15-year-old boy was shot and killed by a fellow student in his homeroom class. Killed because the boy he asked to be his Valentine thought being gay was so offensive that it warranted murder. Larry King's memory and the struggles of scared and isolated kids and young couples all across our nation remind us what really is at stake. And they remind us that the road to ultimate victory and full equality runs far beyond the familiar comforts of West Hollywood and San Francisco. We must take the fight and our message of hope from the coastal blue to the inland red, from Fresno and Bakersfield to San Bernardino and Riverside and Orange County and San Diego. You see, this is our chance to add our voices to America's story of progress. This is our opportunity to usher in a new age of equality, to reach out to the children and families afraid to be themselves, and to give hope to all those waiting for the day when all couples can join hands, when all of us can celebrate the right to marry, when the doors of justice swing open to anyone, regardless of race, religion, or sexual orientation, and when our fight leads to a future of liberty and civil rights for every American. Thank you and God bless you. Thanks to the Human Rights Campaign.